Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be a foundation review and wear test, but with a twist. I am going to be giving a second chance to the Rabanne Fresh Touch Foundation. Now, I feel like I was one of the very first people to review this foundation. I bought it right on launch last year. I'll link my review of that video up above and down below in the description box. But after I reviewed that foundation, it just disappeared. Like instantly, you couldn't buy it anymore. It was gone. It was like it never existed, this foundation. I had emailed customer service multiple times asking about it. They said it was so popular, it was out of stock. It's a whole story that I'm going to get into, but it was a terrible foundation. I did not give it a good review. And now, it's almost a year later and it looks like they're officially launching this foundation. So since I hated it so much, I'm gonna give it a second chance and see if maybe they reformulated it, if they fixed the issues, because I have an inkling that they maybe realized that they had launched it a little bit too early before fixing all the kinks. So I'm gonna be applying this foundation with you up close and personal, doing a check-in 4 hours into my day outside in natural daylight, inserting in some swatches, and then just coming back at the end of my day and letting you know what my initial first impressions is on this foundation after wearing it throughout the entire day. And we're gonna see if it's better than the first time. I'm really hoping so. So if that sounds good to you, if you like foundation videos, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't yet. I would love it if you stuck around. But with all that, let's just get started trying this foundation. All right. Normally I zoom you in right away and we just get to applying, but I do want to give a little bit of some context to this review. I will leave timestamps down below. I always do timestamps on all my videos if you want to skip ahead, but I saw that they're relaunching this foundation. Now, very quickly to just summarize my last video, if you don't want to go back and watch it, which is fine, I found the shade to be way off. I picked up the shade 10N and it was so orange. It looked nothing like the swatch online. And on top of the shade match just being way off, it like separated on my skin, which looking back makes a lot of sense. So after it launched, I did my review. I tried to link it. I couldn't find anything about it. It was completely sold out. I emailed customer service at least 3 times over the course of maybe like a month or two, just trying to like figure out what was going on with this foundation, because now I was like invested in what was going on. I needed to know. I kept getting kind of like the same, just very vague answer that it sold out really quickly. They're working on a restock, but it never launched on Ulta. I purchased it personally through the Rabanne website in Europe, through France where I live. So it didn't seem like it launched in America at all, and it was just a very confusing time. Months went by, and I was doing my foundation inventory, which went up in maybe like May. I'll link that video, and in that video I talk about that foundation. I talk about my experience with it, how much I really dislike that foundation, and how I had emailed customer service, and then I did a swatch like on camera, and the foundation like completely separated. And I've never had that happen, where like you could see the pigment and then it was like white milky liquid around it. It wasn't clear liquid, it was white milky liquid. And I was like, okay, this is odd. And at that point, I was kind of pissed off, because now I've had this foundation maybe 6 months. Not only was it just a terrible foundation, but now it was expired and it says a 12-month shelf life. So I emailed customer service again and I said, at this point, like I just want my money back, because I can't exchange the shade. It hasn't been on your website. And you're not telling me when it's going to restock. You're just telling me it's out of stock. So they finally said, okay, we'll refund you. And I was like, okay, that was surprising. Like I was kind of expecting a fight I didn't get a fight. They said, send us the foundation back and we'll refund you. So I got my money back and I don't have the physical bottle anymore, which is why I can't show you that foundation any longer. I still have my old swatch photos, so I'll be showing my old swatch photos and then also using the new swatch photos here, but I no longer have that foundation. They took it back. They refunded me my 39 euros and I'm very happy about that. So now lastly, before I get to actually applying this foundation, they have not officially launched this yet. They have a countdown on their website for, I think, in a couple of days. So I'll update the description box. I'm just having to film this a little bit early. It's the only time I can film it. I need to clear this room out by today. So it's my last chance to film. But it's launching, and because it's launching, they were actually giving out free samples. So I only have like these free samples. I just had to pay for shipping. I got 2 packs of them. I paid for shipping twice just so I had enough to do swatches. But I picked up the light pack or the fair pack and like the light pack or something like that. I can tell just by looking at the little blister packs that the color is better. So we're gonna see, but this should be live as of now. I don't know the prices. I don't know anything else. I'm just here to actually try the foundation, and it's actually better, I think, for me personally, because I can go in with an open mind without knowing anything behind this foundation. So that's just my little, PSA. Sorry, this is a little bit longer, but I felt like it was necessary since this is like a retry. But now, after all that just rambling, I'm gonna zoom you in closer and we're gonna get to trying this foundation. Okay, since they don't have any information on this, I don't know the price, I don't know the claims, I don't know anything. Unfortunately, I'm just going into this blind. Like I said, it's, I think, a little bit better for me, so I can just stay a little bit more open-minded and try to push the thoughts of the last foundation out of my head. I picked up the light pack as well as the medium pack, I think. So I have all these shades. I think I'll be testing 10N just to see how it compares, but I'll probably have to mix a few just to get enough of the foundation on my face and yeah, have enough to do swatches and all of that. The medium pack 30 through 40 is definitely gonna be too dark for me, which is fine, but I can at least use it for my swatch comparisons so you can kind of see the differences if you're interested in this foundation. Now, I think I'm gonna go in with half brush, half sponge just to kind of see, and I'm gonna crack into this. So 10N looks like it would be the right shade for me normally, which is this one right here, I'm thinking. So let's just see how much this has to like cover my face. I'm going to just kind of push it around like this. Now, if you're new to my channel, I don't use any kind of primer when doing a foundation wear test. I just want to see like a good baseline of what this foundation can do. So I only have skincare on. I am assuming that this is going to be a comparable price point. I paid 39 euros, so somewhere around there. And it did have like 1 standard fluid ounce, I think. So, I'm not expecting too much. Already, like, this looks so much better. Open mind, open mind. We're not going to compare it too much. I'm just going to try this like it's a new foundation. It looks really nice. As far as my skin type and what I prefer, I do have normal leaning dry skin, but I do get pretty oily in my T-zone, so I guess you could call that combination skin. I do like a natural finish, and natural to me, because I find that to be a little bit of a relative term. To me, that's kind of like a satin finish, a very, very soft matte with a little bit of glow. I don't want something that's overly matte or overly dewy because I get glow throughout the day because of my oils. This looks very nice with the sponge. I like this a lot. It looks natural. It looks one with the skin. It's very lightweight. It does have some luminosity to it. I think the shade match is very good. This is the shade 10N, and I'm just gonna put a little bit more. And we're gonna go in with a brush. I already did the sponge, Melissa. So let's just see how it looks with the brush. Usually this just provides a little bit more coverage. I am a sponge user myself, but I know not everyone loves a sponge. Now the brush just feels like my skin feels a little bit more dry using the brush. And I do feel like there's a little bit of brush marks, not bad, but this like feels hydrated, juicy, like I feel like I have skincare on. This feels like a very, it's hard to explain, like it just feels more drying. I don't know why. I'm gonna go over it with my sponge, I think. Just add back in some moisture. Yeah, it just feels better. I think my dogs are playing in the other room, so if you can hear them, I'm sorry. Well, my dog and my mom's dog. I only have one dog. Here's what it's looking like. It gives like a medium coverage, I would say. Yeah, I would say like a solid, like a light medium, but a solid medium. And the glow's not too much. You can see it. It's not emphasizing anything like my pores or texture. In between my brows looks really nice. I'm actually just surprised at how lightweight it feels and how nice and nourishing it feels on the skin after the sponge. With the brush, I didn't feel that, but I can really tell a difference on how nourishing it feels. So I'm pleasantly surprised right now. I think now I'm just gonna go off camera, apply the rest of my makeup, let this settle in a little bit, and I will be back to just talk about what I'm thinking so far. Rest of my makeup is on, and you know, I think the foundation's looking really, really nice. I just can't get over like how lightweight it feels with the amount of coverage I'm getting. It feels like nothing on the skin while giving really nice coverage. It's not too dewy. Like I was a little bit worried it was gonna be luminous. That was the only thing that they said as far as their teaser for buying a sample or getting a sample, paying for shipping, whatever, but they did say it was luminous, and I don't think it's that luminous. Now, I do always list all the makeup that I'm wearing in the description box, but as far as like what's gonna affect the foundation, I did powder just in my T-zone and where my concealer is. So under the eyes and then right here. Nothing else has powder products other than like my cheek products, of course, but I did not set the foundation before going in with cheek products. So my bronzer, blush, highlight didn't really patch up to the foundation. It didn't do anything weird. From powder to foundation, it went on really smoothly, really nicely, and didn't cling or anything like that. My face doesn't feel too sticky. It feels tacky, like it doesn't feel completely dry, but it doesn't feel like I'm afraid to touch my face because it's gonna mess up the foundation or anything like that. So if you wanted to set it, you could, but for the sake of just trying this out, I don't want to put too much powder, and I didn't use any kind of setting spray. The minimum I can do to just see what this foundation can do. So I'm pleasantly surprised right now. I'm gonna go through the rest of my day, or at least half of it. Like I said, I have a lot of cleaning to do, so I'm just gonna get cracking, stop procrastinating a little bit, and I will check in with you all outside in about 4 or 5 hours. It's been 5.5 hours. The day is getting away from me, and I am nowhere near finished cleaning where I need to be. The foundation looks really great. I am very happy with it. Now, granted, it is not hot outside. It's fairly normal. I mean, I'm wearing a sweatshirt in July, just a typical summer. I've been inside, it's been cool, so like there hasn't been a lot of climate factors for the foundation. So if you work an office job, you need an inside work foundation. So far, this one's looking great. It is like a teeny tiny bit shiny on my chin, but that's it. It's holding up great on the rest of my face here. Still have my complexion products. It's not looking too shiny anywhere else. It looks pretty much exactly how I applied it. So I am overall very pleased with where I'm at for over the half-day mark. So I'm just gonna continue on, just giving you like a little bit of a check-in, like even on my forehead, it's looking really great. But I'm going to insert in my swatches now, keep this nice and short, and I will check back in with you all in another 4 or 5 hours or so. It's officially been almost 9 hours now, and I have to say this foundation's looking very nice. It is like a little bit shiny, normal for me. It's not actually that bad. I wouldn't say this is transfer proof. I'm gonna zoom in just a little bit because I can see, you know, where the foundation's worn away on my nose where my glasses lay. And if I kind of just like press, I can see the foundation lifting. So it's not transfer proof, which is fine. I haven't done any kind of touch-ups, so of course I'm just gonna go in with my sponge like I normally do, just kind of see if this revives the foundation at all. Just kind of do half my face here. And I had a feeling that it was gonna work just perfectly. So here's the side where I blotted, here's the side where I didn't. You can see that it just kind of picked up the oils. And I'm overall very happy, especially considering the experience I had last time. I have no complaints. I think without knowing the claims of this foundation, I would say that it is a soft, dewy finish that's buildable coverage, medium coverage. I didn't build it up too much since I only had the sample, but I could see it being easily buildable. I would say it's semi-long wearing, just not transfer proof. And I would reckon to say that it's gonna be okay for all skin types, just depending on what you want. If you have dry skin, I would probably go in with more of a dewy primer, a moisturizing primer. If you have oily skin, even though this is a luminous foundation, I think you could go in with kind of an oil controlling primer and have this still give you a little bit of a glow without making you look oily and greasy. So I think it could work for all skin types. Overall, the shade was so much better. You should have seen my swatch photos so far. I was able to compare a lot of different shades. There are, let's just see, 6, 12, 18. It does, according to this, come in 30 shades, and I was able to swatch 8 of them, I think. So not terrible for the shade range. As far as like the light shades, I can say that they have improved. I can't speak on like the darker shades, but from what I tried to this one, the shade depth, like the tone of it is so much better. That was one of my biggest things. The second biggest thing was that it just completely broke apart and separated on my skin. I got none of that. So I'm very happy. I'm glad that they did samples and let people try it, because I think I will actually pick up another bottle of this, especially since they did take back my last bottle and they refunded me because it was just expired and disgusting. So I'm happy with Rabanne. I was kind of feeling like way on the fence and just not not on their team, so to say. And this has really turned it around for me. I'm actually very happy with this. I'm glad that I decided to try it. I had to pay for shipping, but like, I'm not that upset paying $7. So I think this is a win. I haven't tried anything else from their makeup line. If you have, I would love to hear your suggestions down below if you liked it or disliked it, what to pick up, what your recommendations are. But after that, like, I think this is gonna wrap it up. I'm glad that I gave this a second chance. I've only done that with one other foundation before in the past, and I still didn't like that foundation. So for this to like kind of turn around and do a complete 180, I'm very happy. Like I said, I will be picking this up so I can further test it. Normally, after a first impression, I do test out a foundation more, come back to you with a roundup video of all the foundations that I've tried and let you know how I think it wore, trying it a little bit more, not having it be a first impression. That's gonna be a little bit tough to do with these samples, so I'm gonna do my best. Maybe I need to do like some mixing in order to try it more than once. I usually like to try a foundation at least 5 times before I come back to you on what I think about it. So that's really all I have. I would be really curious to know if this is a foundation you were interested in. Do you remember when it launched first, like 8 months ago or something like that? 6 to 8 months ago, I think. And if it intrigued you then. But that's really all I have for you today. I hope this video was helpful. The swatches were helpful. And I will see you in my next one. Bye, everyone.